Sometimes there's a mystery detectives cannot solve. Their problems only multiply, solutions just evolve. And then comes the great divide that splits things all apart. Then you need the master, a man with math and heart. He's Abacus the Great, he'll clear up all suspicion. He'll distribute, regroup, solve for X, cause he's a math magician. Add, subtract, multiply, divide, all things which he excels. Polygons, fractions, a man of many spells. The steps are simple, one by one, the number's infinite. For help in math, both big and small, call Abacus the Great! Hello, apprentices, and welcome to this week's episode of, get ready, say it with me, Abacus the Great! So good, so good. This week, we are going to be learning about area and perimeter. And there is no better person to teach us about area and perimeter than Helix, because we have never had a friend like him.
Squares and rectangles both have four sides. Triangles have only three. Man, you're in luck because perimeter is easy to calculate. You take all four sides of a square and add together all of their lengths. A triangle, rectangle, pentagon, all you gotta do is add those sides. Total perimeter of any of all those shapes. Just add them together, jot it down. Math has never been simpler. You could also do 2 times the length and the width. Then add those products together. Another way to find perimeter. Yes, sir, you'll pride your geometry skills. You're the boss, the king, the shah. Say what you wish, it's yours to dish about. We learn to do the area. First you look at the length, then you look at the width. Then multiply them together. That's the area of a rectangle. Uh-oh. Here we go. Yeah! Perimeter this. Then area that. Just multiply or even add. Just do some math. Well, looky here. Then abracadabra, let it rip. Then make the area appear. Mr. Math Magician, solve a problem or 2 or 3. That's area and perimeter. Now you can solve a problem, you can solve a problem. You can find the area, you can find the area. You can find the perimeter like me. You're a real math magician.
Now you're a real math magician. Yeah! Love that, Helix. Thank you. Now, area and perimeter are 2 of the more fun types of math. I personally love geometry. I love shapes. I love creating with those shapes. It's a very artistic element of math. Perimeter I like to think of as like the police force. I don't know if you ever watch any crime shows, but I love crime shows. The police force go in and they say, let's establish a perimeter around the building. It means the exact same thing there as it does in math. Perimeter is just the distance around an object. So as they're establishing a perimeter around the building, they're establishing the area around whatever building they're going into. I just used the word area for perimeter. The distance. Ha! Fixed myself there. They're establishing the distance around the building. Now, area is the space within that building. So perimeter is the distance around the building. The area is what's inside that building, that shape. Inside that shape, the amount of space inside that shape would be the area. Let's zoom into the computer and get a better look at this. All right, so let's take a look at this with actual shapes rather than just my description. Perimeter is the distance around a shape. Let's say this shape is 5 units across and also 5 units down. Now we could replicate that for all 4 sides. Now if we were to count the length of each of those sides, we would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So that perimeter is the length around the entire shape. Now area, as we mentioned, is the entire area inside that shape. So we would have to fill it up completely with those square units and then count the total number of units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. I want you to remember these little individual squares inside here, because when it comes to giving the final answer for area, your answer is going to be in square units or units squared. This is why, because we're talking about the number of squares for that type of unit that fit inside the shape. So let's take a look at perimeter of this shape. If this shape is 5 centimeters by 5 centimeters, remember, squares are the same on all 4 sides. So if the bottom here is 5 centimeters, then the top there is 5 centimeters. And if the right is 5 centimeters, then the left is 5 centimeters. So I have 5 centimeters all 4 times around. So really, I would have 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5, which would equal 20. Now, all we had there was repeated addition. 5 4 times. You could also write that out as 5 multiply 4, because I'm taking that 5 and I'm multiplying it by the 4 different sides, which would also equal the 20. So this would be 20 centimeters. When we're dealing with a length or an area or anything geometric, really, we want to give that unit so we know what type of unit we're talking about. It's going to be very similar to for rectangles. Again, if my right is 5, then my left is 5. If my bottom is 8, then my top is 8. So I can add those together again. I would have 5, add 8, add 8, which would be 26 inches. With the perimeter of the rectangle, you'll notice I don't have all 4 sides the same. But I could do 2 multiply 5 and then add to that 2 multiply 8, because I have 2 of each of those, and that would give me the same answer. That would be 10. That would be 16. Add those together is still that 26 inches. Now, perimeter, no matter the shape, is always just adding all of the sides together. So with this triangle here, we're going to add the 6 feet with the 6 feet with the 3 feet to get us a total of 15 feet. No matter the shape, we could do this with a pentagon. I have 4 meters on all 5 sides, so I could do the repeated addition. Or because they are all the same length, I could do multiplication. 4 add 4 add 4 add 4 would be the same as 4 multiply 5, which would again give us our 20. So those both equal the 20 meters. This would work the same for hexagons, octagons, nonagons, whatever shape. For perimeter, you just want to add together the lengths of all of the sides. For area, remember, it is that total space inside the shape. I'm no longer talking about the distance around it. I'm talking about how many square units are blue on this square. Now for area, with this episode, we're just going to be talking about squares and rectangles. Each side, length and width is what we're going to call those. It's calculated by adding those number of boxes that were inside it. We're going to use the formula area is equal to length times width. Now, if you go back to our square here for just a minute, you can see we have 5 that way and we have 5 that way. So we're going to be doing the 5 multiply the 5 to get us our area. And 5 multiply 5 is 25 centimeters squared. Now remember, we do that centimeters squared because each unit would have been 1 centimeter, and then we're counting the total number of squares that we had within that. So that 25 centimeters squared, you might also see that written as square centimeters, SQ period, CM period, or square inches or square feet. Let's take a look at a rectangle now. My rectangle is 8 inches by 5 inches. Now remember, area equals length times width. So my area is going to be 5 multiply 8. 5 multiply 8 gets us 40. Now remember, what am I missing here? Good, the units. That's going to be 40 inches squared, or 40 square inches. That is area, the space inside a shape, and perimeter, the distance around. Let's go to our student question for this week. This week's apprentice question came to us as an email from an apprentice named Alejandro. He wrote, "Dear Abacus, I have a bit of a different kind of question for you. It's not a word problem, and there's no math involved. Hopefully that's okay. My question is, what is your favorite thing about math? Thanks, Abacus. Sincerely, Alejandro." Alejandro, that's a great question, and I'm happy to answer it for you. My favorite thing about math? Let's see. There's so many. Let me think. Still thinking. Still thinking.
3 hours later.
There's so many things about math that I find amazing. First and foremost, I think it's important to note that anybody can do math. Math is a skill from very basic counting to polynomials. Being able to get x alone on one side of the equation. So first off, I think it's important to note that I love math because everybody can be successful with it. Another thing that I love about math is that there is generally one right answer. Until you get into things like inequalities, where as long as x is greater than 3, so 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and so on. Or when you get into negative numbers, like if 4 is equal to x squared, then technically x squared could be 2 or negative 2. But generally speaking, math has one right answer. Like I said, not always, but one right answer most of the time. But the thing that I love about it is that there are so many different ways you can get to that one right answer. I mean, just an example, what is 4 times 5? Well, you can do 4 times 5 and know that that's 20. We could draw a box and then count the squares. So we'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, you could draw 5 groups of 4. So you have 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. You could even repeated addition. 4 plus 4 is 8, plus 4 is 12, plus 4 is 16, plus one more 4 is 20. So I guess the things that I love most about math are those two things. One, there's math of all different kinds, so everybody can be successful with it. And two, though there is generally speaking only one correct answer, there is almost always more than one way to get there. Brilliant question, Alejandro. For this week's magic trick, we're going to do a little bit of levitation that I'm going to teach you how to do at home. Okay? See the pencil? Gotta have the whistle. Magical, magical whistle. Oh, it's gonna, it's gonna fall out. I don't want it to fall out. We'll let it fall back down. You want to say that again? You want to say it again? Pencil. If you don't have a whistle, you could be like a velociraptor. And then let it fall back down. Now, how do I do that? You want to know? All you need is a pencil, a vase, and a piece of thread the color of your shirt attached to the bottom of the pencil, attached to your shirt. Then magically, as you pull the vase away from you, toward the camera, toward your friends, it levitates. Hey. Oops. Hi guys, I'm joined with Helix here because we want to give you one final goodbye.
It's been great having you apprentices on this journey.
Thank you so much for joining us on this adventure. We've done 13 episodes so far. 2020 has been great, and we couldn't have done it without friends like you, and you, and you, and you, and you, Helix.
You too, Abacus.
Oh, thank you, Helix. Thanks again for joining us. Keep an eye out because we will be back. As always, apprentices, until next time, make sure your math is magical. So much for joining me on this adventure, guys. If you've been here since episode 1, or if you're just barely joining on and you're watching the backlog, I appreciate every single one of you for being here with me. I'm glad that I can provide these videos for you. If you've liked them, make sure you hit that like button. And if you want to know what's happening when we come back next summer, then make sure you hit that subscribe. I do have some things lined up for next summer. Some new episodes, some new content will be around. Please be around. Thank you guys for joining me. 2020 has been awesome. I know it's been tough, but we've made it. The school year's starting. Let's make it a great year. Thank you.